Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching Kokomo City. My name is Marina Yurieva. I'm the president and co-director of Outcome City, and I'm really excited to introduce you to this Smith, the director, producer of Kokomo City, the creator of music. How do you call yourself these days?
Your Highness. No. Yeah, just the director is fine.
Okay, are you still the music producer?
I am, but I'm so excited about continuing to tell stories
Mhm,
and all
mhm.
the possibilities and the discoveries that I've come across in doing so. I'm just really excited about creating films and movies and things. I am totally focused on that. However, I do want to apply music to
Mhm.
all of these projects. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think they go hand in hand, and it works very well for me.
Well, it does, as we see in your film. You use the music and sounds a lot, and I think that that's a very important part of your film, and that what makes it more distinct and underlines certain moments.
Yeah, no, it's really fun to do, and it's the ultimate creative process. Like I can't imagine anything being more fulfilling as a creator.
Mhm.
You're creating music, you're creating emotions with the music, with the visuals, and it's very exciting. I feel absolutely honored and blessed to have that opportunity.
And tell us about your film. How did you have that idea? Did it come out as you expected to? And what does this film mean to you personally?
Thank you. Um, well, it absolutely did come out as I wanted it to. I think even better because you could create uh, the most spectacular film or book or painting, but if people don't receive it as you would want them to, or that you thought, um, it defeats the purpose. No matter how much we want to be liberated as artists, we always want validation from other people. Like it's
Mhm.
rewarding. It's very gratifying. So though the film visually has kind of met my desires, people sharing their support and their curiosity with the film and excitement is really the greatest award. Um, yeah, and I came across this because for so long, for so many years, I've been doing music, as you know, and
Mhm.
once I started to transition, everyone just kind of went uh, their separate ways and no longer really reached out to me to work or to collaborate anymore. And I ultimately became homeless. And so this was a very dark time for me. It was very difficult.
Mhm.
Um, I think that would be very difficult for any creative person, like a true creative person. This is what you rely on. This is what gives you life, right? Just to have the ability to create. Um, to have your to have backs turned on you by your peers is just it was devastating. So this film really kind of have given me a new life, a new opportunity to just do it all over again and even better, So I was motivated by the challenge to do this
Mhm.
film. Hmm.
That's great. And who did you have anybody in mind when you, as an audience, when you created it? Who's it addressed to?
Oh
It
yeah.
it it feels like it's not really for LGBTQ community.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I want the LGBT community to embrace this and
Mhm.
enjoy this and be inspired by this and be reminded by this. But the bigger picture is outside of those walls, right? It is.
Mhm.
I didn't want to make another queer film for queer people. Like, I think the message is much more. urgent, and it needs to be with the people that needs to hear this. Like a lot of LGBT trans people know everything that has happened in, you know, the movie Kokomo City. We live our lives, a lot of us, by those, you know, nuances and details in those men, right? But outside of those walls, you know, there's a lot of women, maybe Black women, that say,
Mhm.
you know, well, my husband, not my boyfriend, because he's so tough and he's so masculine. My
Mhm.
boyfriend doesn't like gay people. He would never be with a trans woman. Well, sweetheart, this is exactly why you need to watch the film. You know, it's not to persecute anyone, but it's to create awareness, you know, for those that may think that this has nothing to do with them, you know, when in fact it is exactly who it was made for those women that are in denial or just completely oblivious to this life, you know, subculture, if you will. So, you know, it was definitely created to get the Black community excited and also the film world excited. So between those two was my driving force.
And did you receive any feedback from straight folks?
Oh yeah, I've every single festival that I've personally attended has been just absolutely overwhelming. You know, with support and uh, um, applause, standing ovations, and
Mhm.
I do think it has, you know, a lot to do with a liberation of the transgender story or a narrative. It just feels like a door has been opened for other creators or trans women to kind of let loose and speak more and be more candid and open and brave and excited with documentaries or content that deals with transgenderism. And I think people in the festivals are just excited about the newness and uh, the freshness of you know, Kokomo City.
Right, and that's wonderful. And critics call this film already the next Paris is Burning. And I mean, now we already know that your film is a big deal.
Mhm.
When did it become clear to you? At which step of this journey did you realize that I'm making something big?
It took a very long time. I mean, honestly, when I was making the film, I actually have text messages and emails and uh, you know, things like that, explaining to people while I'm making it how huge this is going to be. I'm literally like, this is going to change the world. Like, you know, especially when I was asking people to help me, I was explaining. I was like, this is a no brainer. I'm so excited about this, and it's different, but that excitement, you know, became a little um in and out, you know, because I'm lost in my own world and I'm thinking, wow, like to me, this is brilliant, you know, not my work, just the idea of doing any documentary in this way, you know, and I I would go in and out of being really encouraged, but maybe like after 5 awards or 3 awards, I started to really get the point and the picture about how huge this was. It took me a long time to
Mhm.
really understand the magnitude of what Kokomo City is doing and what it's going projected to do.
Yeah, but it's really cool that it's matching that you did expect it to be big, and it is really big.
Thank you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very exciting.
Yes. And can you talk about the cast? You found, ev- did you find everybody on Instagram? How did you find them, and how did it all happen?
Well, initially, you know, my thought process in finding the girls, I wanted girls that felt raw and untampered with and kind of, you know, in the crevices of, you know, society or transgenderism, the places that people weren't looking for, right? I wasn't looking for like the huge influential trans girls. I basically went to the the popular public figure trans women, and I went through their comments. I didn't go to them. I went through their comments and was kind of like sifting through, looking for really good comments that felt like something. And just I'm gonna go through the comments. That's what I'm gonna do. That's where I'm gonna find my girls. A couple of them I did find, and a couple from Instagram led to something else. Maybe a girl was like, "Well, I don't want to do this. I think this is great, but I'm not ready to do this." And but I do know a girl that is, and I was
Mhm.
introduced to Daniela Carter, who is stunningly genius. So every people were. It was quite easy to find the cast. To be honest with you, I knew what I wanted, how I wanted them to look. It was quite easy. It was very easy to do. Um,
Even men?
Excited. And the guys, oh yeah,
Yeah.
the guys were. I told a couple of them about the documentary at the beginning stages of when I was creating the
Mhm.
documentary, and you know, they were very excited. They even kind of threw out the idea of them doing it. You know, I didn't want to flat out ask because I didn't want to be rejected or offend these guys, but they were so excited to do it, like almost throwing themselves in the opportunity, and that was very encouraging for me. Uh, and very honorable for them to do. I mean, it was just brilliant to have guys in this
Mhm.
film. It wouldn't have been the same for sure.
Right. Yeah, I think the perspective of the guys in this film is very important, and it's very surprising for me to find that you convince them to talk and they volunteered to talk. That's really cool.
Well, you have to be humble too. You have to be very um, realistic, and I also understand the culture. I understand what the culture wants, and I understand what the culture should be in the future as far as what I can contribute. And I think that those things could be very hard to come by because people are afraid of being political, not political, being canceled, being not cool, da da da. But when you know something, you just absolutely have to stick by it and do it, and just hope that you get people around you that could support you and trust you. Even people that probably don't understand the culture. At least get people around you that just sees the vision. That helps a lot. So all of the
Mhm.
subjects in the documentary understood exactly where the culture is going, and yeah, we did that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And your film is touches a lot on the safety issues. I mean, it is about the sex work. It's about trans Black lives
Mhm.
and safety. mm, Coco talks about safety a lot in the film. Um, so, can you just tell our audience what would you like to see? How people protect trans Black lives? What what are the easiest thing that all of us can do right now?
Sure. Well, we are in a different time than it was for Coco when she started. She started at around 16 years old, doing sex work, uh, and she did it for a very long time. And I think that there are great opportunities for trans women um, to explore other options. We're fighting a fight every day. There's a little nudge to push us, um, you know, um, in that world of society of being normal, right? And I think that I would wish that the older trans girls would encourage, you know, um, would encourage younger trans women that there are options, other options than, doing sex work. And because it's been a long kind of like, um, rites of passage, you know, for a lot of girls to um I'm so sorry. I am distracted because my boyfriend is playing his music in the bathroom. I apologize. And it's like very
Like,
loud and it's distracting me. And I'm like, why is he doing this?
we can cut it out.
Hmm?
We can cut it out. Don't worry.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
Can you turn the music down, babe? It's really loud. Your music. Oh man. I am so sorry.
Oh no,
He's
it's
normally really quiet, and today he wants to sing in the shower. I'm like, what are you doing? Okay,
artist.
I
Yeah.
apologize. I apologize, but let me start over with that question if it's okay.
Hmm. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, you were asking,
About trans lives, safety, and
sure, sure.
what people can do about it.
Yeah. I mean, Kokomo City is a fun film, and it's very informative in a non confrontational way. But there is also a message there of reconstructing um, the template, right? Maybe older trans girls in the community should put their arms around the younger girls and whisper in their ear, hey, there are other options than sex work. You know, I do understand why girls do sex work, and it's a very real thing. But we're in a place in 2023 where we should push a little more to just venture out of sex work, possibly to prevent, you know, girls from encountering violence or death. You know, it's a very hard thing to talk about because there's a lot of inequality with trans women, and it's very difficult to be a trans woman and black at that in America is very difficult. And you know, it's not. I will say this is on the optimistic level. We're not in those days in the 90s and in the 80s where we don't have absolutely other options. And I just want other trans women to encourage younger trans women to know that there are other options than sex work. Um, Sex work has been around a long time, but we're evolving. Um, and I hope that this film somehow resonates with all trans women, you know, to kind of just regroup as a community and just create options or find those options. You know, I think that's something that we have to really work on as a community.
Right. And sex work is perceived by different people very differently. And some people try to save and rescue sex workers, um,
Mm.
just
Yeah,
one direction. The other one is that mm, non-judgmental and not being involved. Do you personally think that sex work can be safe?
I think honestly, if it's legalized, it will help an awful lot. Um, I will be honest with you. Before I did this film, I was not a huge fan of sex work.
Hmm.
Um, you know, with I mean that's just not with transgender women. That's just in general. You know, I grew up in a conservative household as you know as far as Christianity, and it was just something that we all looked down upon. We always looked down upon
Hmm.
sex workers as a child. Even television, you know, there was just like the scum of the earth, right? No one listened to them, no one believed them, no one helped them, no one you know, it was just one thing to kind of just benefit for 20, 30 minutes, and that's all they were for. But as you can see in Kokomo City, these women are absolutely brilliant, and they're stunningly intelligent, and they have the capability of doing anything they put their mind to. Um, since doing the film, especially meeting the girls, I have a different view on, you know, the occupation of sex work. Everyone does sex work, not just trans women. Men do sex work, women do sex work, and everyone
Mhm.
does it. Sex work with trans women are scrutinized in such a way, it's just kind of mind boggling. It's like, kind of like, what is the difference? You know, what is the difference? But I think that if it's legalized, sex work in general, it could
Mhm.
really, like, well, that, and also men being comfortable with what they like, right? Where they don't have to sneak or hide, or create violence towards trans women because they are fighting with what they like, you know?
Mhm.
That's what Kokomo City is. It's just, it's not to resolve anything. I didn't do the film to fix
Mhm.
anything, right? But only to create a conversation or a reminder to men that frequent trans women in private and go back to their wives or girlfriends, you know, and leave trans women in the gutter, right, of
Mhm.
society. Um, I do think that, again, I think if there was some sort of bill to make trans work, trans sex work legal, that will help a lot. That will offer some sense of protection for the girls.
Yeah, thank you. And what are your next projects? You said that you were excited about filmmaking. So are you a filmmaker now?
I
You've made.
am absolutely a filmmaker now, and I'm not turning back. I'm working, um, just really early development on a couple projects. I am working on another documentary, um, and I am looking into narrative, which I'm
Mhm.
very excited about. Very excited, and I have a few people, really big opportunities, due to them being excited about these projects, and so, um, obviously, I want Kokomo City to be a success by way of it being, accessible to everyone, where everyone can learn and be entertained, and the fascination of trans women is so strong. I just want people to kind of just have a place where they could feel comfortable watching these girls in their true element. So, once that is underway, I will be in full production with another project very, very soon.
Wow, thank you. That sounds really exciting.
So
Thank you
excited.
for being here, Dee, and good luck with your new projects.
Thank you
Uh,
so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.